minutes.
6:39. Now, apparently, too many women treat their husbands like children, leaving lists of instructions, not trusting them to run the house when they're away. This is according to the head teacher of a leading girls' school.
Yeah, she has claimed
Something
that...
anybody here recognises?
No, there's no list in our house anywhere.
I might
for me.
write the odd list or two, if I'm honest. In a slightly
when you say the odd
condescending
list
way.
or two...
I do. Well, actually, we're now electronic. We do it by text. Because,
so you're
to
not
be honest,
writing it, so it's not strictly you, yeah?
Well, it is me. It is me. It is true. Because if you're busy and, like, I get up early, we get up early, he comes in late, then you don't necessarily want, if you've got 20 minutes time to bombard them with instructions, do you? Then you wake up in the morning and think, oh, my God, he's going to have no idea where the Karate Kid is. He's going to have no idea where...
Should you have a look at the list that you... This is what you wrote, Derek, this morning. It's a quick list that you wrote.
Derek.
This is Derek. Okay. And Peg. Don't forget Darcy's onion. Black leggings on the radiator.
Home economics.
Jackie's picking up. Have left Granny Pasta.
Yeah, no, the reason
Is Granny Pasta a name of your granny?
No, it's a special sauce that my mum makes, which Billy loves. So I normally pick him up from school. Jackie is today. Derek won't know this. He won't know what's going on after school. But if he comes out of school and it's not me, then he'll be a bit disappointed. But Granny Pasta offsets that. So basically, I'm trying to control everyone's emotions.
Do you feel like you're treating Derek like a child? Because this head teacher is schooling you, claiming that male domestic ineptitude is a myth. Women should loosen their grip to prove to their daughters they don't have to be perfect at everything.
Really?
Yeah, let's have a look. Pip Thompson spent the evening with one couple who are about to spend the weekend apart.
It's evening in the Creamer household and husband John is getting his instructions.
This weekend, remember, I'm going away with the girls.
Yep, you told me.
I'll write you a list of all the things that need to be done.
OK.
Stan's got a party at 3.
Yeah.
Stanley's got football at 10. Grace has got dancing at 11. You need to make sure the washing's clean for the weekend, for their school uniform for Monday. And Stan's on a school trip, remember, as well. So you need to get some food in for him for his packed lunch.
Right, OK.
I've got quite high standards, I think, and sometimes I don't think things are done properly. On Sunday you can do whatever you like.
Not quite so fast, Nicola. You've also added kids' homework to the list.
It's the reminding, isn't it? I think that's the patronising thing, is being told to do things.
Nicola does admit that she needs to chill out, but saying it is much easier than doing it. Pip Thompson, Good Morning Britain.
Well, joining us now, broadcaster and author Anna May Mangan, who says men do need to be managed. Alongside Peter Lloyd, author of the book Stand By Your Manhood, says men are perfectly capable of running a household alone.
Yes.
Very good morning to you both. Peter, do you have somebody who writes you lists that you tear up into tiny pieces and chuck in the recycling?
Do you know what? I live alone and I'm completely autonomous. I don't need any lists and I don't need any woman, however well-meaning, to provide them for me.
Is that because it's only you, so you've only got yourself to look after?
Yeah.
And the reality is that as things grow and there's more and more responsibilities, that actually there's more things we need reminding of?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm juggling lots of different tasks all the time and I've always got a big family and I, have lots of different responsibilities. And amazingly, I manage them all just quite fine. Thank you very much. So it's all good.
Anna May Mangan, are you more like Kate in the leaving of the list in the morning?
I call myself the chairman of the ironing board. I run the show. I mean, what's wrong with that? My husband doesn't want to. I mean, he doesn't mind doing anything as long as he doesn't have to think about it. So I leave him the list and he cracks on with it. I mean, I must admit, when he does stuff, I mean, there's virtually an award ceremony that has to take place. Put him on the podium, play the national anthem, he's hoovered.
But does he do it just off his own back, or does he do it because you've written on the list that hoovering needs to be done?
He claims that he can't remember things. He claims that even though the same chores, I mean, there's not a new household chore every day, it's a dish, it's the same old routine. He can't remember it. But if I said to him, hey, it's a football match tonight, and then we're going to have takeaway curry, and then we're going to have an early night, he'd remember that, no trouble whatsoever. But if I said to him,
having an early night to do in the bins?
Well, it's kind of foreplay, isn't it, really?
I mean, it's an interesting point. I mean, there's slightly different propositions. I'd like to think. They certainly are in our household. A chance to be a fine thing. But, Peter, there is...
You've sort of drifted off a little bit,
Too much information.
But I think the interesting thing is that what Anna has worked out, and as Kate clearly has in their house, there is a system that works. And actually, if that system works, without that system, suddenly everything slowly unpicks and falls apart.
Yeah, I suppose your point, Peter, might be that actually there are other systems that work.
Absolutely, and what I would always say, there is actually a technical term for this phenomenon, and not a lot of people know it, and it's actually called womansplaining.
Oh.
Well, you see, could that be the point, Anna? Because as a fellow list writer and control freak, is it because of a slight feeling that if it's not done my way, I think it's going to fall apart? Like,
Not
I
at
think
all.
Billy's going to be upset, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen, or the children... Whereas actually, what Derek might say is, do you know what? If I don't forget to do that, they'll be fine, and they'll cope with it, and it's OK.
Men say that to dump the jobs on the women, because both... I mean, I'm assuming you like to get into a clean bed. I'm assuming that you like food in your fridge. I'm assuming that you wash your clothes. So if you do all of that, and you're in a partnership, it should be 50-50. And actually, I think things are changing now, because men are doing shared parental leave, and all sorts of things are shifting. So, yeah.
But as a man, do you think there's a sense that men can be quite good at allowing control to be taken off them so they can relinquish responsibility a little bit and kind of go, do you know what, I'm quite happy for my partner to take control of that, and I'll just sit here and just tell me what you need me to do and when you need me to do it, and I'm happy to do it. And taking that back seat becomes easier and easier the more they like to take over.
Do you know what? I actually don't think it's about gender. I think it's about personality types across the board. And people who micromanage are often their own worst enemy, because when you micromanage somebody, you create a cycle.
I think you're right.
What happens is the subject becomes apathetic, and they say, well, I'm going to get it wrong. I'm just going to follow this to the letter. I'm not going to do anything. I'm paralysed by fear of getting it wrong. So I just become weak and useless. And so these people who micromanage are often their own worst enemies.
So Anna, do you think you've created a monster of your...
A lazy monster? No, definitely not. And it's so mundane doing this stuff. And I think there's a lot of men in Britain who should be called Ron, and in front of that should be later, because all they say is later on. Will you ask them to do anything?
What happens if you just don't do any of the stuff that you feel like you're doing too much of, and you're writing a list for your husband to do?
But
how long would it take for the whole household to just crumble into dust?
Well, how long? I mean, if you didn't empty the bin, how long would it take to fill up the kitchen floor?
How long would it take for your husband to realise the bin needs emptying without you telling him?
But then it doesn't take two people to worry about the same things in a marriage or a partnership. So I run the house and he cooperates fully, thank goodness.
But if the bin is overflowing, surely there's a point at which he realises that no one else is going to take the bin out unless he takes the bin out.
Yeah, but that's sort of one-upmanship. How far do you go? Dirty underwear and no food in the fridge, no milk for the coffee. You know, it's dangerous, isn't it? That's a dangerous tactic, and it causes arguments. Whereas a list reduces any need for an argument and even a discussion about it.
Who's it dangerous for? Is it dangerous for you because you'd feel uncomfortable, or is it dangerous because it gets unhealthy? I don't.
Well, it's dangerous because cockroaches would come.
Yeah. But do you really think it would get that bad?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you're totally unengaged from housework and won't do it unless you're invited to do it.
But I just wonder whether he's got into the habit of just being told all the time.
Well, I write it down and he does it. I mean,
but whereas if you didn't write it down, maybe he might just do it.
Peter, have you got any friends that Anna's describing? Do you see that in some of your male friends that sort of got into relationships where they've let their partner take over?
Yeah, and I always tell them off because I think nobody should ever be under the thumb. But I also know...
Unless they've let themselves. This is what I wonder about, whether people, you know, and as you say, it may not be about gender, but whether you've just sort of allowed yourself to get into the position where you don't take initiative, you just wait to be told. Because that's what the head teacher's saying, is we're infantilising partners by telling them all the time, which doesn't allow them to develop their own responsibility. I suppose I'm sort of, you know, I mean, as people know, I have 3 boys and I'm raising them, and I'm also wondering about, you know, maybe I should do a little bit less and let them step up a little bit more. So when they see the bin overflowing, they realise they've got to take it out.
My husband was really sad. His father died young, and he's got a sister and a mother, and it was in the days before remote controls, and he would say, can someone turn the TV up for me? And someone his mother or his sister would turn the fire up. So it's the generations now definitely are different.
Although I'm not so sure, because I know a few older gentlemen who are now single-parent fathers, and they operate flawlessly without the presence of a woman. You know, they juggle children and work and their personal lives, and they absolutely ace it.
Yeah.
Daniela Jean says on Facebook, if they didn't act like children, we wouldn't feel the need to do that for them. I have to remind my husband of an appointment a week before, the day before, then he will still forget on the day.
He'll often say, can you write down to remind me, Derek will say. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that means I've now got the pain and responsibility of reminding.
Just share
Say
responsibility.
No. Can you
Say no.
Sharon says...
Is this why I'm single?
I left a to-do list for my husband once. I couldn't understand when he got really cross and tore it up. I thought he totally overacted. We're divorced now because of his unreasonable behaviour. That bodes well. You see, there's the tail in there.
One more thing, that head teacher, her students are paying 18k a year, or the parents are, to be in that school, and I don't think they're probably going to be doing their own housework in the long or short term, to be quite honest.
Do you know what?
And is it her remit to be talking about this?
Give me 18 grand a year, I'll tell them to do that. Right?
Yeah,
Go
brilliant.
around and do it.
Great to see you both. Thanks very much
you, thank
indeed. Do you get in touch this morning? Who's in charge in your house?
Have you written a list this morning?
Yeah.
What was on
Slightly
it?
guilty. Derek's sitting there thinking, I'm doing everything this morning.
And
she's banging on about me.
Derek's just,
television.
Derek's just looked at the list
Well
and gone,
done, darling. Well
granny
done.
pasta.
Well done.
I've got to get the granny pasta sorted. Derek, get the granny pasta sorted. Right then, still to come on Good Morning Britain.
Oh my God!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Richard will be with us to tell us why Margot Robbie got the shock of her life while she was promoting her latest film, Peter Rabbit.
Indeed, like a rabbit caught in the headlights, every pun intended. But who was the man who entered her room, even though he was invited? You'll find out after the break.